Welcome everyone back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. Today we're going to go ahead and cover all 10 of the character balance changes. Hope you guys enjoy. Of course, hit that subscribe if you are new for more content. So I've also personally been playing with a few of the units, not many of them. I haven't read most of them, but I have been playing with some of them, like the new Vegeta, the Super Saiyan 1, the updated one. He's pretty good, man. So hopefully the rest of these guys can impress me kind of the same way. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So a couple of things I want to note is that some of these guys have some of the higher power levels in the game. Like 17 is up here now, which is pretty cool. So obviously that's not all you need. You need a ton of buffs and stuff like that. So we're going to start off by looking at the previously mentioned Vegeta. So this Vegeta got one major buff in particular. Overall kit is very good now. But the Z ability is a lot more versatile. He now has access to the Vegeta family Z ability. Now, he is the first unit in the game that is able to boost this tag. So, of course, expect more units in the future. But it's very nice to be able to tie in Vegeta units and Trunks family units and stuff like that. So, anyways, we get out of here. And he's a defense type. Here are the stats at 2-star, level 3000. Overall, below the line. Feel free to pause if you would like to. And we do go ahead and go up to the 5-star. And then also up to 7. So this guy's got some crazy high stats, man. That defense is through the roof. He's looking really good. So crit's a little bit, I don't want to say subpar, but we have to see the number when it's max leveled. I believe this actually could be max level. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's actually fixed this. So 11,000, 23. These are good numbers. We go ahead and look at Pure Evil. Minus 15 to own Strike Arts cost for 15 counts. So in my initial video, I talked about how this unit was a defense type unit that was strike focused, right? And there's actually a number of units that have come out recently like that, including but not limited to this Broly, this Gotenks. We also do have access to Ribrianne, and all three of those units came out back to back to back, basically. This Gohan as well, all back to back to back. And then Vegeto's obviously defense type, but he doesn't really care as much. So the Vegeta here is, again, a strike-focused one, so a lot of what he does will be centered around strike. So minus 15 to strike cost for 15 counts is phenomenal, obviously. You know, he drops the cards down from 20 or 19 or whatever down to their, yeah, it's 20, and then 19 there. Down basically to nothing. So that's cool. Increases arts card draw speed level by 1 for 15 counts as well. So this is actually very welcome. So he has a main ability here where he's going to be able to very, very easily, I'd say, because the cards are going to be so cheap, chain in a couple of extra cards into his combo if you're sidestepping and stuff like that. So very nice, very nice. We go ahead and take a look at the unique ability. Plus 40% strike damage inflicted from battle start for 45 counts. This is an assault ability. Assault abilities are good, but I would say that, you know, I generally am not the biggest fan of the ones that kick in, you know, for the first like 40 or 45 counts personally, because a lot of matches go longer than that. And this is just a buff that's going to get wasted ultimately. But in the very beginning, he'll have access to that. And then after 15 counts, so with 30 counts to spare, if you had him out there for the entire time or whatever the case is, he'll be getting the Pure Evil alongside this as well. So he's going to be able to stack that stuff. And again, very good output. So we take a look at the second unique, plus 10% to damage inflicted for 10 timer counts when enemy uses a Strike Arts card. So this is shades of Super Vegito. And Super Vegito wasn't really the first one that did it. We also had EX Videl, and I believe there's another card. But we have a card here. Oh yeah, there's the Beerus, the EX Beerus, who does it somewhat too. But we have a card here who gets a general damage bonus simply for being out there when the enemy uses a strike card. Now this is nowhere near as good as it would have been in Battle Version 1.0. The reason being is because in Battle Version 1.0 you could stay at a long distance and strike cancel, and farm Dragon Balls. Because it doesn't say when he's hit with one, right? So, yeah. But still, this is still pretty good. The following effects occur also upon landing a Strike Arts card hit. Randomly destroy one enemy card. Yeah, that's stupid. That's stupid. This is absolutely stupid, and in a good way, of course. This is dumb. And plus 10% to strike damage inflicted. Okay, so let me go ahead and break this one down. So 10% general damage, blast damage, strike damage, it doesn't really matter. He's going to get 10% more damage overall when the enemy uses a strike card. Again, I've already talked about how that's limited now, but it's not bad. The following effects occur when he lands a strike card. He gets a 10% strike damage bonus and randomly destroys one enemy card. The strike damage bonus is also quite good, and the reason why is because this should stack, which means that in a sidestep combo, that should offset the damage going down as part of the, because in this new battle version, they did reduce the damage you do for sidestepping, right? The reason why you would still do it is just to eat timer clock and be able to switch more readily and stuff like that. But you do just a bit less damage even though you chain in that extra card. This should offset that easily, right? So that's going to be nuts. And then also, again, destroying an enemy's card is... I was up against one of these earlier, and I had, like, there was a couple of cards that I wanted, like a green card and a blue card in my hand, and he just destroyed them. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I just don't need those, apparently. I guess I'll just go after myself, man. So, like, and there are obviously strike cards that destroy, like the Majin Vegeta holds it, but, like, that's nowhere near as devastating as just being able to destroy a card on command, basically. You can destroy their whole hand, basically, too. That's crazy. So the Big Bang attack inflicts enemies the attribute downgrade plus 20% to strike damage received for 15 counts on hit, so he does need to connect that attack. Green card restores health by 15% and also cures his abnormal conditions. So if he's got any sort of abnormal conditions, he removes them. He holds a blast card because why not, I guess. But again, at 5-star, he picks up the strike attack and defense, which is a good combination for Vegeta family and Red. So that's also a crazy good pairing. Anytime you have color and a tag, that's always going to be very good because it adds for more viability. You can already see here a little bit. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could do something like Gohan, who's a blast unit, so just bear with me. Him and something like that. Also, on a side note, this type of Z ability, I'm just now noticing it, ties in Rildo and SSG Vegeta, or SSJ Vegeta GT, excuse me, as GT characters because there is no GT tag booster. Even though, you know, this Vegeta is a blast-based unit, so he doesn't necessarily want strike attack and defense, he might as well. So that's little stuff like that you can do, right? So it works. So overall, very impressed by that guy. So 17, another defense type. Here are the stats at 2-star and level 3000. And then here are the 5 and the following 7. Very, very good graph. Again, defense numbers are through the roof. Power level is pretty high. Draws a special arts card next. Okay, with the main ability. So this is the green card. So he draws a green card, which is the barrier. So that's pretty good. Inflicts all enemies, excuse me, with attribute downgrade plus 35% to damage received. Just on the main ability? Okay, cool. General damage? Okay, all right. And reduces their ki by 60. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is quite demoralizing. This is quite a demoralizing main ability. Because here's what he's doing. One of the things we know is that his green card can now chain. I point this out, and I've been meaning to do a video on it, and I'm glad I delayed it because he got an updated barrier. Only a few barrier cards in the game can chain into red and yellow cards, the strike and blast cards. Most of them, all of them in fact, can all do chain into the blue card, the special move. So now that he can chain into the red and blue, or red and yellow, excuse me, as part of using the barrier, then this is even more devastating, right? Because he's going to force them to take more damage and completely remove all of their ki, basically. 60% is most of your ki. So, yeah. And he draws the barrier, too, so if they were going to do something, he can, again, get a combo starter and basically avoid any damage. So, double team blast attack up, plus 40% of blast damage inflicted when 3 battle members are left. So, this is good, especially among the Android class of characters, because you also have access to, like, that Cell. You have that 17 and 18 EX cards that are very, very good if you wanted to run those, and they're very tanky as well. So, this is very good. This shouldn't be too hard to maintain. But just keep in mind, like the Vegeta, who loses his buff after a bit, this one seems to be a bit more consistent, but again, Rising Rush is a thing. But one thing that's really cool about this guy, I can already see it. So when he cover cuts, he reduces their ki by 30 and reduces damage received by 50%. Okay, so I think this is the second card in the game that does 50, maybe third. The only one I can think of is the new-ish green Broly that I might have mentioned earlier. So, yeah, 50% is quite a lot. Also, the defense numbers that he has automatically. Also, reducing enemies' ki by 30 as part of just switching in completely, again, neuters combos. Like this card, this is what a defense unit should look like already from what I'm seeing. This is just the, I mean, honestly, he could be labeled as a support type with what he's doing. This reducing ki seems so unnecessary, but it's quite good. And then on top of that, he even gets a 40% strike damage bonus for 40 counts just for switching in on a cover cut. But oh, okay, it's fine. They offset it by making him have 3 + 3 days sub count. Whatever. The Super Electric Strike, still a mid-range attack AoE. It's major slice damage, inflicts enemies with attribute downgrade, plus 20% to strike damage received, and a 40% chance to inflict paralyze on hit. I have said it, and I'll continue to say it. I don't give a damn about Feint. I don't care about Feint. I think it's just popular to hate on Feint or complain about Feint. I think Paralyze is 100% the most annoying ability in the game. Because the reason why is when you get hit with the Feint, yeah, you might still lose. Yeah, it might be, a bad situation for you, inopportune. But it's going to be a one-and-done thing. It's going to be a one-and-done thing, and you're fine. With Paralyze, you could get paralyzed repeatedly until you switch out. You could get paralyzed repeatedly. Like, I've had it go rampant where you get paralyzed once every other second. You can get paralyzed repeatedly to where you can't vanish. You can't even switch. You can't even switch because you're paralyzed. Yeah, Paralyze is the absolute most annoying ability, and I don't want to hear otherwise. I don't care about Feint at all. I don't want to hear it. Personally, I absolutely hate Paralyze. 100%. It's too powerful. So here's the barrier. Nullify, rant over, excuse me. And if you disagree, that's fine. Nullifies enemies' attacks, excluding certain moves like the Rising Rush. If enemy is at close range, while attacks are nullified, they'll be knocked back to long range. This is very good. Knocking them back to long range is quite good. I believe most of them do that, though, so it's not like crazy good, but still. The following effects occur if attacks are nullified. Reduces next damage sustained by 30%. Why? Why does he get this? Why does he get this? Why does he get to just... If he's able to use a barrier, it's almost like he still has some residue of the barrier because the next combo he gets hit with, it's getting reduced by 30%. Why? This applies until enemy combo is finished, plus 20% to strike damage as well for 40 count. Yeah, these barriers are getting quite good, man. And again, you can combo off this now. These barriers are getting quite good. Like, Buhan's barrier is nuts. So, like, these barriers are getting crazy, crazy, crazy good. And one thing that really is good for him is he does pick up the Android tag. So that was always the biggest issue with this card. The biggest issue with this card, even on release, was that they purposely went out of their way to make it to where he had that purple Z ability, because at the time they were really trying to limit teams, didn't want to produce a lot of Z abilities that were good for the teams, wanted you to run weird stuff like this 18. She has female warriors, which is fine. It's fine, right? It's not a big deal, but for an Android type setup that doesn't work, and she was one of the better androids at the time. They also even neutered her by making her a strike unit holding double blast. Like, they just did weird stuff, man. So this is good for him because it finally gives him a untouchable place on this team, basically for the very long future to come. Like, you can still use any of these other cards like the EXs or whatever, but this card is in a very good position. Also, being purple does allow for the 17-18 mono purple type setups, and you can also do color counter as well. So keep your eye on this guy. He's going to be quite good and quite versatile, and I already mentioned it, color and tag is crazy good. So we have Pod Frieza. Pod Frieza here is a range type unit. So we're going to go ahead and proceed here. I'm going to stop doing the stats. You guys can kind of see that if you would like to on legends.dbz.space. Again, legends.dbz.space. So the Nefarious Gambit draws a special move arts card next. So he draws a blue card, plus 50% to special move arts power. Okay, so he draws a blue and immediately buffs it. So I actually went up against one of these guys in some test runs earlier, and I was playing with SSB Vegeta. 5-star SSB Vegeta versus 6-star Pod Frieza, I think it was. And it was just early in the match. He used a special move, and as soon as he can, because he can do it after 10 counts. Yeah, he drew it almost instantly. And he did, I would say, maybe 60% of my HP with one attack. And I was at full HP, so I go instantly down to like low yellow. And I was like, all right, cool. Okay. So he can do quite a bit of damage. So Anti-Saiyan, blast attack up. That's part of the reason why he's going to just completely destroy Saiyans. 40% now. 40% to blast attack on Saiyans. It could have been 40 prior. I feel like it was 20. But regardless, applies plus 30% to key recovery to self for 20 counts when this character enters the battlefield. So this is shades of Lineage of Evil. Even though this guy isn't going to buff that tag, he's going to be quite good there, especially being, again, color and tag, because at the bare minimum, he's buffing the Frieza units and buffing Final Form Cooler. And the reason I say that is because a lot of those cooler units and stuff like that, they do switch bonuses. So that's just how this Frieza tag or Frieza race tag is kind of shaping up. Plus 20% to blast damage inflicted per tag Frieza Force battle member. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So in a full Frieza Force team versus a Saiyan, this man is getting 100% blast damage? What? 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 20, 40, 60, 40. Yeah, he's getting why? I'm moving on, not dealing with that. Nope. Strike card has blast armor. Yeah, he can fly through your cards with the strike card. I've got to remember that because that's actually quite good. Not a lot of cards do it, so got to remember that. Deals massive explode damage. Ooh, interesting. Plus 75% to own special move arts power for 10 counts upon activation. Why? 75 on activation, really? 50 over here if you do it quick enough? Okay. Yeah, this card was always this type of unit, but they've made him a lot more conducive to what he wants to do. The green card is now long range, minus 15 to own special move arts cost too, and immobilizes the enemy. Imagine hitting them with the green card and having a blue card in your hand. Imagine just using your main ability. You had a green card already. You actually hit them with the telekinesis. It's a good thing there are characters that are immune to this type of stuff. You know, you hit them with that and then just instantly go into the blue card or whatever else. Like, that's going to do a ton of damage. And don't be a Saiyan. Don't let them get a chain of combo going. And don't be a Saiyan. Oh, my goodness. And even if you're not, you're still taking minimum 60% with battle members. I'm going to have to test this out. These battle member type restrictions on uniques and even on equips, I'm going to have to test them out and get some help testing them out because they seem like they would be things that would go away when you don't have that battle member anymore because they've been KO'd. I've never understood that part of it. I've always operated as if that was the case, by the way. So we'll see, but I'm going to have to test that out. So another Frieza Force unit that got a buff. Vegeta finally picking up a buff. I've been wanting this unit to get buffed since patch 2. This is the 4th one, I believe, now. So, like, since patch 2, it's been a while. So, he was always one of the more damaging blast units overall. We take a look, actually, at his blast attack here. It goes up to 128. That's quite high. 134 at 7 if you happen to have him there. Oh, wait, I do. He's so old. So, main ability, draws a Blast Arts card next. Oh, okay. He's just going to put the card in his hand. Gotcha. Plus 50% to blast damage inflicted for 30 counts. Gotcha. Okay, he's one of these. This is like Shades of Rildo. This is like Shades of Rildo, but blast version. Okay, 15 counts must elapse. Very generic, but that's going to do a ton of damage. Okay, so the unique ability did pick up Sun Family, excuse me. I talked about it initially, but having anti-Super Warrior was just 100% worthless. It just was not worthwhile because you're almost never going to encounter a Super Warrior. I would say maybe 1% or less of the time you're going to encounter a Super Warrior. If you want to talk about the characters that should be getting buffed repeatedly, it's the Super Warrior characters and other characters like Chaozu and stuff. Well, he's a Super Warrior. But like other characters like Cybermen's and whatever, they don't really buff hero cards anymore. They did the first patch. They stopped. But like, I don't, those are characters you will never see. Okay, so now we do have Sun Family on there. It's only 20%, but with how common Sun Family characters are in general, whether it's a Sun Family team, that's going to be quite good. 20% of blast damage. So, also, minus 5 to own Blast Arts cost once 15 counts have elapsed from the battle start. Okay, and plus 30% of blast damage inflicted once 30 counts have elapsed. Okay, so he doesn't, these are like, this is an assault ability, basically. A duo assault ability. His cards get cheaper. That's very good, obviously. And then plus 30% of the damage overall. All you have to do is just like, whether you lead with him or not, you just need to waste 30 counts. And once you use 30 counts, he's going to just completely have access to just about everything, right? He'll even have access to his main ability if he didn't use it yet, and he's going to do a ton of damage. So that's kind of the sweet spot for this unit, post 30 timer counts. Now, the Gallic Gun, major impact damage, and plus 25% to own Blast Arts power on hit. You do need to connect that, but if you do, his blast cards get even more insane. Okay, so unlock key form of attack, plus 15% of blast damage inflicted for 30 counts, and he changes strike cards to blast cards. Okay, this was one of the things I mentioned in my video a couple of weeks ago that I felt like he just needed. I felt like this is just what he needed, right? Because he's a blast-based unit. He holds double blast cards. He just wants blast. He doesn't give a dang about strikes at all. So since that's the case, I felt like he really, really needed something like this. And this is not disappointing whatsoever. We go ahead and scroll down a little bit, and we take a look at the Z ability now. Double tag, always nice to have double tag. At 5-star, he picks up Frieza Force buff. Frieza Force did not have a lot of buffers. As you see, they actually picked up a couple or 2 or 3 more here already. So yeah, this is very nice to be able to have that versatility, and also allows for him to be on teams with Frieza more readily. We have access to our final sparking, the Goku. So we have Heart Virus Goku, plus 30% of damage inflicted for 25 counts. Increases Arts Card draw speed level by 1 for 25 counts, and you need 5 counts to use it. So overall, a very good main ability, just in general for any character to have. That's very good. Unique ability, minus 10 to all arts costs from battle start for 30 counts. For the first 30 counts, every card that he has is 10 key cheaper. Very overall good. We have the Viral Heart Disease, minus 5 to own health every time this character uses an arts card, once 15 counts have elapsed from the battle start. So, oh, wait, what? This was definitely not a thing, was it? Once 15 counts have elapsed? I'm pretty sure that this card was doing it in the beginning of the battle. So for the first 15 counts, he doesn't take any damage, but he still benefits from the reduced cost, and then within the first few counts, getting the Swift Bout active. This is very, very cool. I like that. Nobody wants to take 5% HP, right? So this 15-second window where he just becomes an absolute monster, damage-wise, card draw speed up, and stuff like that. The only way he gets any more broken is if he has key recovery, which we'll see if he has that. But that's awesome. Also, cancels enemies' attribute upgrades when this character is defeated. Yeah, the canceling attribute upgrades is nuts. The thing about it is like that type of versatility makes characters really, really good. Like I think that after thinking about it, you know, I think Super Vegeta is the best character in this game, and I don't think that's a hot take, right? But I don't think it's because of his damage buffs, because every character has damage buffs. And, you know, they've had varying degrees of damage buffs and varying amounts and how they get them, whatever, right? He's good at it, right? Very, very good. But in my opinion, the best thing that card does is just by clicking his icon, the main ability, he removes the attribute upgrades. Because, like, if he didn't do that, I would honestly say Gohan was the better character. SS2 Gohan is insanely good. He can 1v3, he heals, he does everything you want a card to do, right? Even without a Goku battle member. But since he can get his buffs literally cleaned out, even though he can apply some, but since he can get all that stuff literally cleaned out, you know, I'm a little apprehensive, right? So this right here, he's gonna basically beat himself. So when he finally goes down, they just lose all their buffs. That's very, very good, man. So we go, and you know what? Do you know what's been happening lately though? Is cards have been getting buffs that kick in after a certain amount of time, or buffs that kick in after just different conditions, so they're not automatically applied. So, well, this isn't great versus those types of setups in most cases, but still very versatile. A Super Kamehameha, major impact damage, plus 20% of blast damage inflicted for 10 counts upon activation. We go ahead down, plus 20% of strike damage inflicted for 20 counts, and plus 25% of key recovery. Yeah, I was going to say, he's got to have key recovery in his kit somewhere. He's got to have it. So, by the way, even if he misses the Kamehameha, he does more damage. That's something I've been making sure I'm pointing out. It's on activation or not. So, oh, his E ability goes up. 33% at 7-star to Yellow Strike and Blast Attack. Yeah, they didn't give him any sort of like Sun family or anything like that, because this type of Z ability getting tag boost is too good. Saiyans don't even have a booster like this, just in general. A Strike and Blast Attack, they don't have that. But I will say Yellow has a couple, and they're both Gokus. So this one's still better. He has a better percentage base. 30 versus 30. Actually, no, they're the same. Oh, I thought this one goes up to 35. Oh, wow. That's how big a buff this card got, because he was in the 20s. That's really good. All right, getting into the EXs now. We have third form Frieza, EX. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll down here. Fearsome Leer inflicts enemies with the attribute downgrade, plus 45% to blast damage received. After 10 counts, you can use that very early, so that's quite good. Anti-regeneration, blast attack plus 40%. Plus 40% of blast damage inflicted against regen characters. This is obviously because the Piccolo affiliation. We go ahead and scroll down a little bit more. All costs down, minus 5 to own arts cost from battle start for 30 counts. So he's got the half, you know, he's got the ability of the Heart Virus Goku, but just 5 instead of 10. Piercing strike attacks interesting to note. We come down and take a look at the special move. Major pierce damage inflicts enemies with the attribute downgrade, plus 10% to blast damage inflicted or received, for 15 counts, and plus 40% chance to inflict bleed on hit. So it's not a heavy bleed or anything like that, so I wouldn't worry too much about that, but it's still nice to have it nonetheless, right? And then his green card, plus 20% strike damage. So if you notice, there's a trend with defense types, they try to make them not really care between like strike or blast. Like he's doing both. But there are the ones, and I think the better ones are the ones that just have one focus anyway. But at 5-star, this guy picks up Lineage of Evil, blast attack boost, which Lineage of Evil, it's one of the most limited tags in the game. There's finally 6. There's finally 6 boosters. Does Cooler have it innately, or was it 5-star? I think it's movies at 5. Yeah, he has it innately, thankfully. There's finally 6. So yeah, this was needed, definitely. Overall, I think this might wind up being the best EX simply because of the versatility he's going to have overall. And the blast focus, he's got a very standard kit, I'd say, but we'll see what happens with the other ones. So if this is a precedent for what we're going to expect, I'm not going to expect crazy stuff. So this guy here is going to be a Frieza Force booster. We already kind of mentioned that and saw that. So plus 45% to blast damage inflicted for 15 counts after 10 counts elapse. Plus 15% to blast damage inflicted against Saiyans. So anti-Saiyan blast attack by 15%. Plus 15% to blast damage inflicted per defeated battle member. See, this is why I'm pretty sure the battle member thing means that they have to be up and they can't be defeated, because they do specify defeated battle members. That's why I'm pretty sure about that, like I mentioned earlier. But when he's basically your last man standing, he gets up to another 30% of blast damage. That's pretty solid, but I don't really care about these types of abilities whenever they're the last character up. Okay, so special move, major pierce damage inflicts enemies that you downgrade, plus 20% of blast damage received. Telekinesis, still mid-range, 10 cost. Very, very generic, I'd say, card. I don't think he's that great at all, but I mean, this Z ability is good. Tag color, I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the video, very good combo. I'm not too impressed by this card. I think there are a lot better EXs that have come out recently. So really, I think the EX cards that have come out recently are a lot better than these just in general, like GT Trunks, Videl, and you know what it is? I made this joke in a video with Goresh a while ago, but when the cards have like multiple sentences or like a paragraph, and some of those EX characters have that, they're incredibly good because they just do so much. And it's like these two EX characters we've looked at so far, they're not doing that. They don't have this long like paragraph-like text. You know what I'm saying? They're just one-line stuff. And I don't know, maybe that's because they're buffs of older cards, but I feel like they probably should have put more work. See, like even here, he's not really doing anything. I feel like they should have probably put more work into these cards. But at the bare minimum, they're going to be good bench units, so that's fine. All right, so plus 35% to own key recovery. Okay. All right. This is good. I mean, key recovery is good, but like, can he get a damage bonus? Can he get +1 arts card draw speed level? Maybe. All right. Plus 40% of blast damage inflicted when 2 allies are defeated. Okay. Innate power up, plus 35% of blast damage inflicted once 30 counts have elapsed from battle start. So he's got a delayed ability and then a further delayed ability. Okay. And I'm sure that some of this is them trying to do thematic stuff. Like, this is Vegeta. He didn't do anything until, you know, Nappa was done fighting and the yada yada. But I don't care about that. I don't care. Which would, again, that would make sure that would be why he'd have the delayed type abilities. We go ahead and take a look at the Gallic Gun. Plus 10% to blast damage received. Downgrade on the enemy. The green card, plus 20% of damage. Blast damage. Okay. And he's just yellow. Plus 28% to strike and blast defense. Very good double defense booster. So he'd still make it on the bench if you're looking for double defense. Especially when you have double attackers, like the Heart Virus Goku. Alright, so this guy was one of the newer EXs. Not like the others. They were all very old. Basically launch EXs. This guy was... He's not that new, but he's newer than any of the ones we've seen so far. He might be the newest EX on the list, actually. Anyways, we're going to take a look at our second to last card here. Range type purple King Piccolo. Main ability -5 to own Blast Heart's cost. And plus 30% of key recovery. See, like... Why couldn't the Vegeta get anything? 20 counts elapsed, he gets 35% of key recovery. Oh, 20 counts elapsed, this guy gets 30%. Oh, you know what the difference is? Vegeta's doesn't wear out. But, like, so? So I don't care about that. -5 to own blast arts cost over here too. Well, okay, all right, I see how it is. Plus 30% of blast damage inflicted from battle. Man, they're really enjoying these assault abilities. So after 30 counts, he gets that. And 40% of blast damage inflicted when 3 battle members are left. So another ability here where they're specifically requiring you to have 2 allies up. So you get another 40%. So this is basically the inverse of the Vegeta. They're the same freaking card, just reversed. Already, everything we've seen is almost the same exact identical stuff. Okay. So major explode damage inflicts enemy with the attribute downgrade plus 20% to impact damage received. So impact is good because there are obviously typings on these shots and strikes and other stuff like that, other special moves, so that's good. So key form of attack, plus 20% to own blast damage. He's a blast unit that holds double strikes. Not too bad because there are a lot of purple strike units. He's also purple double defense, so that's going to be quite good on that mono purple type setup overall. All right, our last unit. Another double defense booster. I'm surprised they went out of their way to boost so many of these double defense boosters. All right, so ranged Turles, plus 45% to strike damage inflicted for 25 counts. Plus 40% of blast damage inflicted against Super Warrior. This is almost, like I said, unusable. There's no reason to use that. There's no reason to use that. But, okay. And plus 30% to damage inflicted once 30 counts have elapsed from the battle start. Okay. Because they're loving the assault ability. Assault and innate, they're loving those. Major impact damage, plus 20% to strike art's power. Okay, for 15 counts upon activation. The green card, one of the following effects will occur at random. Restores health by 20%, plus 20% to blast damage inflicted for 20 counts, or plus 20% to strike damage. I would almost always want the health restoration. Always, pretty much. Especially because he doesn't hold a green card. He doesn't draw a green card. He's just a worse version of the Sparking Turles, which isn't bad. That's not bad. But that's basically it. And then green double defense. So I'm actually quite impressed with the EX cards. I'm not that impressed with it, or not, excuse me, not the EX. I'm impressed with the Sparkings, but with the precedents they've set for EX characters, the new EX characters, again, it's not that EXs are bad, but like these new ones, since Evil Boo especially since Evil Boo gets like overhyped at this point. I don't think he's the best EX anymore, but especially since him, all these EX cards have been nuts. I mean, except for maybe the Vegeta and maybe Tien, and they're both solid, but maybe them. You know, the Bulma's nuts, the Trunks is nuts, the Beerus is nuts, the Lord Slug, the Janemba, the Whis, the Shield is pretty good as well. The Videl and the Trunks are 2 of the best EXs in the game. Like, I'm not that impressed because I would have thought that they would have made these cards at least somewhere in that area, right? So, but other than that, I'm very impressed with the Sparkings. And the best thing that comes out of this whole batch is a team versatility. Basically, all the characters, except for the ones that stay, basically, like, I'd say like 6 out of 10, I think, pick up a double like tag where it's double tag or double color or something like that. So that versatility is going to be amazing. So thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch all of you guys in the next one.